Hi, I'm James Stewart, and I am the criminal justice instructor here at Calhoun Community College. And I'd like to take a moment this afternoon to speak with you in regard to the Federal Bureau of Investigation and its intersection with the field of psychology and criminal justice. But before I do that, I just want to introduce myself to you. Before coming to Calhoun, I was a police officer for almost 15 years in several different departments in Tennessee, in Giles County and Marshall County, Tennessee. I retired at the rank of Chief of Police, and I also have state corrections experience, and I worked as a contract extradition agent for a while as well, and I have a bachelor's and a master's in criminal justice, and at this point I'm Albert dissertation toward finishing my doctorate degree in psychology. So that's kind of why I'm here today, is I want to speak to you for a few minutes about kind of how the field of psychology intersects with the field of criminal justice and kind of how the FBI fits into that. Well, I want to take just a moment and tell you a little bit about the FBI. The FBI was originally founded in 1908, and it has the record for having the longest running director of any law enforcement agency in the United States, which was J. Edgar Hoover, who served for over 40 years as its director. An interesting part about the FBI is that prior to World War II, they were actually just an intelligence gathering organization. They really didn't have any law enforcement capability or arrest powers. It was only during World War II and after World War II that they became a full-fledged law enforcement agency here in the United States. One of the major things that the FBI has been involved in since the 1970s is the formation of the Behavioral Analysis Unit, and that was pioneered by three agents, John Douglas, Robert Ressler, and Roy Hazelwood, who began to look at psychological issues and criminal behavior. And what they began to see was that they could go out and they could interview some serial criminals, whether it be serial rapists, serial robbers, or serial murderers, and they began to see some interesting psychological insights. And what I mean by that is they saw some similarities between serial offending and the psychological states of these offenders. So the FBI began to do something that we have coined criminal profiling just in the last several years. And it's not like you see on television. It is really more of kind of an art instead of a science, and it's simply looking at a crime in which you have no idea who the perpetrator is and getting a second set of eyes and applying some psychological principles to trying to figure out who might have perpetrated that crime. Now, unlike what television likes us to believe, a criminal profiler can't simply point to a single individual and say, this is the person that committed this crime. But what they can do is help narrow down the list of potential suspects. And many people are very interested in becoming criminal profilers. I have some experience myself doing consulting work for police departments such as the Tulsa, Oklahoma Police Department, the Glenwood Springs, Colorado Police Department, in regard to some serial murder situations in which I was able to assist those agencies in locating an offender and getting that offender arrested. Want to take just a couple more minutes this afternoon and speak to you in regard to career paths within the FBI. The FBI is a federal law enforcement agency. You cannot be any older than 37 years of age to enter into the FBI, and it does have a mandatory retirement at age 57. So with a 20-year law enforcement retirement, they do require you to have a bachelor's degree, and they also require you to have 3 years of full-time employment. They don't specify the type of employment, but they do require 3 years of full-time employment. The hiring process for the FBI is quite extensive. They engage in a full field background check that could take upwards of a year to complete. And once hired, you will go through a training academy. The FBI Academy is not a rigid paramilitary type of academy like most local and state police academies are, but it's more like college classes. And it is difficult material, but it's not nearly as rigid as the military style police academies that we see all over the rest of the country in state and local police departments. Upon completion of the academy, an agent is assigned to either a resident agency or a field office. There are 56 field offices throughout the United States and many more resident agencies than that. The resident agency is simply a smaller version of a field office. In Huntsville, we have a resident agency that works out of the Birmingham, Alabama field office. There is also a field office in Mobile, and there is a resident agency in Montgomery as well. An agent is asked to put in 50 hours a week. They are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but the compensation is quite nice. It carries with it the federal benefit package. So this afternoon what I've done is I've summarized the intersection of the field of psychology with the criminal justice system, as well as talk to you a little bit about some career paths within the FBI. Now, it's important to understand also that within the FBI, you don't have to be a law enforcement officer. They do have analysts, they have administrative assistants, they have technical agents that work on the installation and management of electronic surveillance resources. They also have fingerprint technicians, and one of the things the FBI is most noted for is the running of the largest forensic crime lab in the United States, which is the FBI Crime Laboratory, which handles cases for many agencies all over the United States, state, local, and other federal agencies. I hope this session has been informative for you, and I would encourage you to take criminal justice and psychology classes here at Calhoun. Thank you.